Enoch 1. The word of the blessing of Enoch, how he blessed the elect and the righteous, who were to exist in the time of trouble, rejecting all the wicked and ungodly. Enoch, a righteous man, who was with God, answered and spoke, while his eyes were open, and while he saw a holy vision in the heavens. This the angel showed me. From them I heard all things, and understood what I saw, that which will not take place in this generation, but in a generation which is to succeed at a distant period, on account of the elect. Upon their account I spoke and conversed with him, who will go forth from his habitation, the Holy and Mighty One, the God of the world, who will hereafter tread upon Mount Sinai, appear with his host, and be manifested in the strength of his power from heaven. All shall be afraid, and the watchers be terrified. Great fear and trembling shall seize them, even to the ends of the earth. The lofty mountains shall be troubled, and the exalted hills depressed, melting like a honeycomb in the flame. The earth shall be immersed, and all things which are in it perish, while judgment shall come upon all, even upon all the righteous. But to them shall he give peace. He shall preserve the elect, and towards them exercise clemency. Then shall all belong to God, be happy and blessed, and the splendor of the Godhead shall illuminate them. 2. Behold, he comes with 10,000s of his saints, to execute judgment upon them, and destroy the wicked, and reprove all the carnal for everything which the sinful and ungodly have done and committed against him. Quoted by Jude, verses 14-15. 3. All who are in the heavens know what is transacted there. They know that the heavenly luminaries change not their paths, that each rises and sets regularly, every one at its proper period, without transgressing the commands which they have received. They behold the earth and understand what is there transacted, from the beginning to the end of it. They see that every work of God is invariable in the period of its appearance. They behold summer and winter, perceiving that the whole earth is full of water, and that the cloud, the dew, and the rain refresh it. 4. They consider and behold every tree, how it appears to wither, and every leaf to fall off, except of 14 trees, which are not deciduous, which wait from the old to the appearance of the new leaf, for 2 or 3 winters. 5. Again they consider the days of summer, that the sun is upon it at its very beginning, while you seek for a covered and shady spot on account of the burning sun, while the earth is scorched up with fervent heat, and you become incapable of walking either upon the ground or upon the rocks in consequence of that heat. 6. They consider how the trees, when they put forth their green leaves, become covered and produce fruit, understanding everything, and knowing that he who lives forever does all these things for you, that the works at the beginning of every existing year, that all his works are subservient to him and invariable, yet as God has appointed, so are all things brought to pass. They see too how the seas and the rivers together complete their respective operations. But you endure not patiently, nor fulfill the commandments of the Lord, but you transgress and calumniate his greatness, and malignant are the words in your polluted mouths against his majesty. Yea, withered in heart, no peace shall be to you. Therefore your days shall you curse, and the years of your lives shall perish. Perpetual execration shall be multiplied, and you shall not obtain mercy. In those days shall you resign your peace with eternal maledictions of all the righteous, and sinners shall perpetually execrate you, shall execrate you with the ungodly. The elect shall possess light, joy, and peace, and they shall inherit the earth. But you, yea, unholy, shall be accursed. Then shall wisdom be given to the elect, all of whom shall live and not again transgress by impiety or pride, but shall humble themselves, possessing prudence, and shall not repeat transgression. They shall not be condemned the whole period of their lives, nor die in torment and indignation, but the sum of their days shall be completed, and they shall grow old in peace, while the years of their happiness shall be multiplied with joy and with peace forever, the whole duration of their existence. 7. It happened after the sons of men had multiplied in those days, that daughters were born to them, elegant and beautiful. And when the angels, the sons of heaven, beheld them, they became enamored of them, saying to each other, Come, let us select for ourselves wives from the progeny of men, and let us beget children. Then their leader Samyaza said to them, I fear that you may perhaps be indisposed to the performance of this enterprise, and that I alone shall suffer for so grievous a crime. But they answered him and said, We all swear and bind ourselves by mutual execrations that we will not change our intention, but execute our projected undertaking. Then they swore all together, and all bound themselves by mutual execrations. Their whole number was 200, who descended upon Ardis, which is the top of Mount Armon. That mountain therefore was called Armon, because they had sworn upon it, and bound themselves by mutual execrations. These are the names of their chiefs: Samyaza, who was their leader, Uraka, Baramiel, Akabiel, Nathamiel, Ramuel, Daniel, Askiel, Sarakniel, Asael, Armers, Batral, Anani, Zavibe, Samsaviel, Ertael, Turel, Yomyael, Arasiel. These were the prefects, of the 200 angels, and the remainder were all with them. Then they took wives, each choosing for himself, whom they began to approach and with whom they cohabited, teaching them sorcery, incantations, and the dividing of roots and trees. And the women conceiving brought forth giants, whose stature was each 300 cubits. These devoured all which the labor of men produced, until it became impossible to feed them. When they turned themselves against men in order to devour them, and began to injure birds, beasts, reptiles, and fishes, to eat their flesh one after another, and to drink their blood. Then the earth reproved the unrighteous, 8. Moreover, Azaziel taught men to make swords, knives, shields, breastplates, the fabrication of mirrors, and the workmanship of bracelets and ornaments, the use of paint, the beautifying of the eyebrows, the use of stones of every valuable and select kind, and of all sorts of dyes, so that the world became altered. Impiety increased, fornication multiplied, and they transgressed and corrupted all their ways. And Mazarach taught all the sorcerers and dividers of roots. Armers taught the solution of sorcery. Barkayal taught the observers of the stars. Akibiel taught science. Tamiel taught astronomy. And Azaradel taught the motion of the moon. And men being destroyed cried out, and their voice reached to heaven. 9. Then Michael and Gabriel, Raphael, Soriel, and Uriel looked down from heaven and saw the quantity of blood which was shed on earth, and all the iniquity which was done upon it, and said one to another, It is the voice of their cries. The earth deprived of her children has cried even to the gate of heaven. And now to you, O ye holy ones of heaven, the souls of men complain, saying, Obtain justice for us with the Most High. Then they said to the Lord, the King, Thou art Lord of lords, God of gods, King of kings. The throne of thy glory is forever and forever and ever is thy name sanctified and glorified. Thou art blessed and glorified. Thou hast made all things, thou possessest power over all things, and all things are open and manifest before thee. Thou beholdest all things, and nothing can be concealed from thee. Thou hast seen what Azaziel has done, how he has taught every species of iniquity upon earth, and has disclosed to the world all the secret things which are done in the heavens. Samyaza also has taught sorcery, to whom thou hast given authority over those who are associated with him. They have gone together to the daughters of men, have lain with them, have become polluted, and have discovered crimes to them. The women likewise have brought forth giants. Thus has the whole earth been filled with blood and with iniquity. And now behold, the souls of those who are dead cry out, and complain even to the gate of heaven. Their groaning ascends, nor can they escape from the unrighteousness which is committed on earth. Thou knowest all things before they exist. Thou knowest these things, and what is done has been done by them, yet thou dost not speak to us. What on account of these things ought we to do to them? 10. Then the Most High, the Great and Holy One, spoke, and sent Arsayalalur to the son of Lamech, saying, Say to him in my name, Conceal thyself. Then explain to him the consummation which is about to take place. For all the earth shall perish, the waters of a deluge shall come over the whole earth, and all things which are in it shall be destroyed. And now teach him how he may escape, and how his seed may remain in all the earth. Again the Lord said to Raphael, Bind Azaziel hand and foot, cast him into darkness, and opening the desert which is in Dudael, cast him in there. Throw upon him hurled and pointed stones, covering him with darkness. There shall he remain forever. Cover his face, that he may not see the light. And in the great day of judgment let him be cast into the fire. Restore the earth which the angels have corrupted, and announce life to it, that I may revive it. All the sons of men shall not perish in consequence of every secret by which the watchers have destroyed, and which they have taught their offspring. All the earth has been corrupted by the effects of the teaching of Azaziel. To him therefore ascribe the whole crime. To Gabriel also the Lord said, Go to the biters, to the reprobates, to the children of fornication, and destroy the children of fornication, the offspring of the watchers, from among men. Bring them forth, and excite them one against another. Let them perish by mutual slaughter, for length of days shall not be theirs. They shall all entreat thee, but their fathers shall not obtain their wishes respecting them, for they shall hope for eternal life, and that they may live each of them 500 years. To Michael likewise the Lord said, Go and announce his crime to Samyaza, and to the others who are with him, who have been associated with women, that they might be polluted with all their impurity. And when all their sons shall be slain, when they shall see the perdition of their beloved, bind them for 70 generations underneath the earth, even to the day of judgment and of consummation, until the judgment, the effect of which will last forever, be completed. Then shall they be taken away into the lowest depths of the fire in torments, and in confinement shall they be shut up forever. Immediately after this shall he, together with them, burn and perish. They shall be bound until the consummation of many generations. Destroy all the souls addicted to dalliance, and the offspring of the watchers, for they have tyrannized over mankind. Let every oppressor perish from the face of the earth. Let every evil work be destroyed. The plant of righteousness and of rectitude appear, and its produce to become a blessing. Righteousness and rectitude shall be forever planted with delight, and then shall all the saints give thanks, and live until they have begotten 1,000 children, while the whole period of their youth and their Sabbath shall be completed in peace. In those days all the earth shall be cultivated in righteousness. It shall be wholly planted with trees, and filled with benediction. Every tree of delight shall be planted in it. In it shall vines be planted, and the vine which shall be planted in it shall yield fruit to satiety. Every seed which shall be sown in it shall produce for 1 measure 1,000, and 1 measure of olive shall produce 10 presses of oil. Purify the earth from all oppression, from all injustice, from all crime, from all impiety, and from all the pollution which is committed upon it. Exterminate them from the earth. Then shall all the children of men be righteous, and all nations shall pay me divine honors, and bless me, and all shall adore me. The earth shall be cleansed from all corruption, from every crime, from all punishment, and from all suffering. Neither will I again send a deluge upon it from generation to generation forever. In those days I will open the treasures of blessing which are in heaven, that I may cause them to descend upon earth, and upon all the works and labor of man. Peace and equity shall associate with the sons of men all the days of the world, in every generation of it. 12. Before all these things Enoch was concealed, nor did any one of the sons of men know where he was concealed, where he had been, and what had happened. He was wholly engaged with the holy ones, and with the watchers in his days. I, Enoch, was blessing the great Lord and King of peace. And behold, the watchers called me Enoch the scribe. Then the Lord said to me, Enoch, scribe of righteousness, go tell the watchers of heaven, who have deserted the lofty sky and their holy everlasting station, who have been polluted with women, and have done as the sons of men do, by taking to themselves wives, and who have been greatly corrupted on the earth, that on the earth they shall never obtain peace and remission of sin, for they shall not rejoice in their offspring. They shall behold the slaughter of their beloved, shall lament for the destruction of their sons, and shall petition forever, but shall not obtain mercy and peace. 13. Then Enoch passing on said to Azazel, Thou shalt not obtain peace, a great sentence is gone forth against thee, he shall bind thee. Neither shall relief, mercy, and supplication be thine, on account of the oppression which thou hast taught, and on account of every act of blasphemy, tyranny, and sin, which thou hast discovered to the children of men. Then departing from him, I spoke to them all together, and they all became terrified and trembled, beseeching me to write for them a memorial of supplication, that they might obtain forgiveness, and that I might make the memorial of their prayer ascend up before the God of heaven, because they could not themselves thenceforwards address him, nor raise up their eyes to heaven on account of the disgraceful offense for which they were judged. Then I wrote a memorial of their prayer and supplication for their spirits, for everything which they had done, and for the subject of their entreaty, that they might obtain remission and rest. Proceeding on, I continued over the waters of Danbadan, which is on the right to the west of Armon, reading the memorial of their prayer until I fell asleep. And behold, a dream came to me, and visions appeared above me. I fell down, and saw a vision of punishment, that I might relate to the sons of heaven, and reprove them. When I awoke, I went to them, all being collected together, stood weeping in Obelsiel, which is situated between Libanus and Sinacer, with their faces veiled. I related in their presence all the visions which I had seen, and my dream, and began to utter these words of righteousness, reproving the watchers of heaven. 14. This is the book of the words of righteousness, and of the reproof of the watchers who belong to the world, according to that which he, who is holy and great, commanded in the vision I perceived in my dream, that I was now speaking with a tongue of flesh and with my breath, which the Mighty One has put into the mouth of men, that they might converse with it, and understand with the heart, as he has created and given to men the power of comprehending the word of understanding. So has he created and given to me the power of reproving the watchers, the offspring of heaven. I have written your petition, and in my vision it has been shown me that what you request will not be granted you as long as the world endures. Judgment has been passed upon you. Your request will not be granted you. From this time forward, never shall you ascend into heaven. He has said that on the earth he will bind you, as long as the world endures. But before these things you shall behold the destruction of your beloved sons. You shall not possess them, but they shall fall before you by the sword. Neither shall you entreat for them, nor for yourselves, but you shall weep and supplicate in silence. The words of the book which I wrote, a vision thus appeared to me. Behold, in that vision clouds and a mist invited me. Agitated stars and flashes of lightning impelled and pressed me forwards, while winds in the vision assisted my flight, accelerating my progress. They elevated me aloft to heaven. I proceeded, until I arrived at the wall built with stones of crystal. A vibrating flame surrounded it, which began to strike me with terror. Into this vibrating flame I entered, and drew nigh to a spacious habitation built also with stones of crystal. Its walls too, as well as pavement, were formed with stones of crystal, and crystal likewise was the ground. Its roof had the appearance of agitated stars and flashes of lightning, and among them were cherubim of fire in a stormy sky. A flame burned around its walls, and its portal blazed with fire. When I entered into this dwelling, it was hot as fire and cold as ice. No trace of the light or of life was there. Terror overwhelmed me, and a fearful shaking seized me. Violently agitated and trembling, I fell upon my face. In the vision I looked, and behold, there was another habitation more spacious than the former, every entrance to which was open before me, erected in the midst of a vibrating flame. So greatly did it excel it in all points, in glory, in magnificence, and in magnitude, that it is impossible to describe to you either the splendor or the extent of it. Its floor was on fire. Above were lightnings and agitated stars, while its roof exhibited a blazing fire. Attentively I surveyed it, and saw that it contained an exalted throne, the appearance of which was like that of frost, while its circumference resembled the orb of the brilliant sun. And there was the voice of the cherubim. From underneath this mighty throne rivers of flaming fire issued. To look upon it was impossible. One great in glory sat upon it, whose robe was brighter than the sun, and whiter than snow. No angel was capable of penetrating to view the face of him, the glorious and the effulgent, nor could any mortal behold him. A fire was flaming around him. A fire also of great extent continued to rise up before him, so that not one of those who surrounded him was capable of approaching him. Among the myriads of myriads who were before him, to him all holy consultation was needless, yet did not the sanctified who were near him depart far from him, either by night or by day, nor were they removed from him. I also was so far advanced, with a veil on my face, and trembling. Then the Lord with his own mouth called me, saying, Approach hither, Enoch, at my holy word. And he raised me up, making me draw near, even to the entrance. My eye was directed to the ground. 15. Then addressing me, he spoke and said, Hear, neither be afraid, O righteous Enoch, thou scribe of righteousness. Approach hither, and hear my voice. Go, say to the watchers of heaven, who have sent thee to pray for them. You ought to pray for men, and not men for you. Wherefore have you forsaken the lofty and holy heaven, which endures forever, and have lain with women, have defiled yourselves with the daughters of men, have taken to yourselves wives, have acted like the sons of the earth, and have begotten an impious offspring. You being spiritual, holy, and possessing a life which is eternal, have polluted yourselves with women, have begotten in carnal blood, have lusted in the blood of men, and have done as those who are flesh and blood do. These, however, die and perish. Therefore have I given to them wives, that they might cohabit with them, that sons might be born of them, and that this might be transacted upon earth. But you from the beginning were made spiritual, possessing a life which is eternal, and not subject to death forever. Therefore I made not wives for you, because being spiritual, your dwelling is in heaven. Now the giants who have been born of spirit and of flesh shall be called upon earth evil spirits, and on earth shall be their habitation. Evil spirits shall proceed from their flesh, because they were created from above, from the holy watchers. Was their beginning and primary foundation. Evil spirits shall they be upon earth, and the spirits of the wicked shall they be called. The habitation of the spirits of heaven shall be in heaven, but upon earth shall be the habitation of terrestrial spirits who are born on earth. The spirits of the giants shall be like clouds, which shall oppress, corrupt, fall, contend, and bruise upon earth. They shall cause lamentation, no food shall they eat, and they shall be thirsty. They shall be concealed, and shall not rise up against the sons of men, and against women, for they come forth during the days of slaughter and destruction. 16. And as to the death of the giants, wheresoever their spirits depart from their bodies, let their flesh, that which is perishable, be without judgment, thus shall they perish, until the day of the great consummation of the great world. A destruction shall take place of the watchers and the impious. And now to the watchers, who have sent thee to pray for them, who in the beginning were in heaven, say, in heaven have you been. Secret things, however, have not been manifested to you, yet have you known a reprobated mystery. And this you have related to women in the hardness of your heart. And by that mystery have women and mankind multiplied evils upon the earth. Say to them, never therefore shall you obtain peace. 17. They raised me up into a certain place where there was the appearance of a burning fire. And when they pleased, they assumed the likeness of men. They carried me to a lofty spot, to a mountain, the top of which reached to heaven. And I beheld the receptacles of light and of thunder at the extremities of the place, where it was deepest. There was a bow of fire, and arrows in their quiver, a sword of fire, and every species of lightning. Then they elevated me to a babbling stream, and to a fire in the west, which received all the setting of the sun. I came to a river of fire, which flowed like water, and emptied itself into the great sea westwards. I saw every large river, until I arrived at the great darkness. I went to where all of flesh migrate, and I beheld the mountains of the gloom, which constitutes winter, and the place from which issues the water in every abyss. I saw also the mouths of all the rivers in the world, and the mouths of the deep. 18. I then surveyed the receptacles of all the winds, perceiving that they contributed to adorn the whole creation, and to preserve the foundation of the earth. I surveyed the stone which supports the corners of the earth. I also beheld the four winds which bear up the earth, and the firmament of heaven. And I beheld the winds occupying the exalted sky, arising in the midst of heaven and of earth, and constituting the pillars of heaven. I saw the winds which turn the sky, which cause the orb of the sun, and of all the stars to set. And over the earth I saw the winds which support the clouds. I saw the path of the angels. I perceived at the extremity of the earth the firmament of heaven above it. Then I passed on towards the south, where burnt both by day and night 6 mountains formed of glorious stones, 3 towards the east and 3 towards the south. Those which were towards the east were of a variegated stone, one of which was of marguerite, and another of antimony. Those towards the south were of a red stone. The middle one reached to heaven, like the throne of God, a throne composed of alabaster, the top of which was of sapphire. I saw, too, a blazing fire hanging over all the mountains. And there I saw a place on the other side of an extended territory where waters were collected. I likewise beheld terrestrial fountains deep in the fiery columns of heaven. And in the columns of heaven I beheld fires, which descended without number, but neither on high, nor into the deep. Over these fountains also I perceived a place which had neither the firmament of heaven above it, nor the solid ground underneath it, neither was there water above it, nor anything on wing, but the spot was desolate. And there beheld 7 stars, like great blazing mountains, and like spirits entreating me. Then the angel said, this place, until the consummation of heaven and earth, will be the prison of the stars and the host of heaven. The stars which roll over fire are those which transgressed the commandment of God before their time arrived. For they came not in their proper season, therefore was he offended with them, and bound them, until the period of the consummation of their crimes in the secret year. 19. Then Uriel said, hear the angels, who cohabited with women, appointed their leaders. And being numerous in appearance made men profane, and caused them to err, so that they sacrificed to devils as to gods. For in the great day there shall be a judgment, with which they shall be judged until they are consumed, and their wives also shall be judged, who led astray the angels of heaven, that they might salute them. And I, Enoch, I alone saw the likeness of the end of all things, nor did any human being see it as I saw it. 20. These are the names of the angels who watch Uriel, one of the holy angels, who presides over clamor and terror. Raphael, one of the holy angels, who presides over the spirits of men. Raguel, one of the holy angels, who inflicts punishment on the world and the luminaries. Michael, one of the holy angels, who presiding over human virtue, commands the nations. Serachiel, one of the holy angels, who presides over the spirits of the children of men that transgress. Gabriel, one of the holy angels, who presides over Ikisat, over paradise, and over the cherubim. 21. Then I made a circuit to a place in which nothing was completed. And there I beheld neither the tremendous workmanship of an exalted heaven, nor of an established earth, but a desolate spot, prepared and terrific. There too I beheld 7 stars of heaven bound in it together, like great mountains, and like a blazing fire. I exclaimed, for what species of crime have they been bound, and why have they been removed to this place? Then Uriel, one of the holy angels who was with me, and who conducted me, answered, Enoch, wherefore dost thou ask? Wherefore reason with thyself, and anxiously inquire? These are those of the stars which have transgressed the commandment of the Most High God, and are here bound, until the infinite number of the days of their crimes be completed. From thence I afterwards passed on to another terrific place, where I beheld the operation of a great fire blazing and glittering, in the midst of which there was a division. Columns of fire struggled together to the end of the abyss, and deep was their descent, but neither its measurement nor magnitude was I able to discover, neither could I perceive its origin. Then I exclaimed, How terrible is this place, and how difficult to explore! Uriel, one of the holy angels who was with me, answered and said, Enoch, why art thou alarmed and amazed at this terrific place, at the sight of this place of suffering? This, he said, is the prison of the angels, and here they are kept forever. 22. From thence I proceeded to another spot where I saw on the west a great and lofty mountain, a strong rock, and four delightful places. Internally it was deep, capacious, and very smooth, as smooth as if it had been rolled over. It was both deep and dark to behold. Then Raphael, one of the holy angels who were with me, answered and said, These are the delightful places where the spirits, the souls of the dead, will be collected. For them were they formed, and here will be collected all the souls of the sons of men. These places in which they dwell shall they occupy until the day of judgment, and until their appointed period. Their appointed period will be long, even until the great judgment. And I saw the spirits of the sons of men who were dead, and their voices reached to heaven, while they were accusing. Then I inquired of Raphael, an angel who was with me, and said, Whose spirit is that, the voice of which reaches to heaven and accuses? He answered, saying, This is the spirit of Abel, who was slain by Cain his brother, and who will accuse that brother until his seed be destroyed from the face of the earth, until his seed perish from the seed of the human race. At that time, therefore, I inquired respecting him, and respecting the general judgment, saying, Why is one separated from another? He answered, 3 separations have been made between the spirits of the dead, and thus have the spirits of the righteous been separated, namely by a chasm, by water, and by light above it. And in the same way, likewise, are sinners separated when they die, and are buried in the earth, judgment not overtaking them in their lifetime. Here their souls are separated moreover. Abundant is their suffering until the time of the great judgment, the castigation, and the torment of those who eternally execrate, whose souls are punished and bound there forever. And thus has it been from the beginning of the world. Thus has there existed a separation between the souls of those who utter complaints, and of those who watch for their destruction, to slaughter them in the day of sinners. A receptacle of this sort has been formed for the souls of unrighteous men, and of sinners, of those who have completed crime, and associated with the impious, whom they resemble. Their souls shall not be annihilated in the day of judgment, neither shall they arise from this place. Then I blessed God, and said, Blessed be my Lord, the Lord of glory and of righteousness, who reigns over all forever and ever. 23. From thence I went to another place towards the west, unto the extremities of the earth, where I beheld a fire blazing and running along without cessation, which intermitted its course neither by day nor by night, but continued always the same. I inquired, saying, What is this, which never ceases? Then Raguel, one of the holy angels who were with me, answered and said, This blazing fire, which thou beholdest running towards the west, is that of all the luminaries of heaven. 24. I went from thence to another place, and saw a mountain of fire flashing both by day and night. I proceeded towards it, and perceived 7 splendid mountains, which were all different from each other. Their stones were brilliant and beautiful. All were brilliant and splendid to behold, and beautiful was their surface. 3 mountains were towards the east, and strengthened by being placed one upon another. And 3 were towards the south, strengthened in a similar manner. There were likewise deep valleys, which did not approach each other, and the 7th mountain was in the midst of them in length. They all resembled the seat of a throne, and odoriferous trees surrounded them. Among these there was a tree of an unceasing smell, nor of those which were in Eden was there one of all the fragrant trees, which smelt like this: its leaf, its flower, and its bark never withered, and its fruit was beautiful. Its fruit resembled the cluster of the palm. I exclaimed, Behold, this tree is goodly in aspect, pleasing in its leaf, and the sight of its fruit is delightful to the eye. Then Michael, one of the holy and glorious angels who were with me, and one who presided over them, answered and said, Enoch, why dost thou inquire respecting the odor of this tree? Why art thou inquisitive to know it? Then I, Enoch, replied to him and said, Concerning everything I am desirous of instruction, but particularly concerning this tree. He answered me, saying, That mountain which thou beholdest, the extent of whose head resembles the seat of the Lord, will be the seat on which shall sit the holy and great Lord of glory, the everlasting King, when he shall come and descend to visit the earth with goodness. And that tree of an agreeable smell, not one of carnal odor, there shall be no power to touch, until the period of the great judgment, when all shall be punished and consumed forever. This shall be bestowed on the righteous and humble. The fruit of this tree shall be given to the elect, for towards the north life shall be planted in the holy place, towards the habitation of the everlasting King. Then shall they greatly rejoice and exult in the Holy One. The sweet odor shall enter into their bones, and they shall live a long life on the earth, as thy forefathers have lived. Neither in their days shall sorrow, distress, trouble, and punishment afflict them. And I blessed the Lord of glory, the everlasting King, because he has prepared this tree for the saints, formed it, and declared that he would give it to them. 25. From thence I proceeded to the middle of the earth, and beheld a happy and fertile spot, which contained branches continually sprouting from the trees which were planted in it. There I saw a holy mountain, and underneath it water on the eastern side, which flowed towards the south. I saw also on the east another mountain as high as that, and between them there were deep but not wide valleys. Water ran towards the mountain of the west of this, and underneath there was likewise another mountain. There was a valley, but not a wide one. Below it and in the midst of them were other deep and dry valleys towards the extremity of the tree. All these valleys, which were deep but not wide, consisted of a strong rock, with a tree which was planted in them. And I wondered at the rock and at the valleys, being extremely surprised. 26. Then I said, What means this blessed land, all these lofty trees, and the accursed valley between them? Then Uriel, one of the holy angels who were with me, replied, This valley is the curse of the accursed forever. Here shall be collected all who utter with their mouths unbecoming language against God, and speak harsh things of his glory. Here shall they be collected, here shall be their territory. In the latter days an example of judgment shall be made of them in righteousness before the saints, while those who have received mercy shall forever, all their days, bless God, the everlasting King. In the latter days, an example of judgment shall be made of them in righteousness before the saints, while those who have received mercy shall forever, all their days, bless God, the everlasting King. And at the period of judgment shall they bless him for his mercy, as he has distributed it to them. Then I blessed God, addressing myself to him, and making mention, as was meet, of his greatness. 27. From thence I proceeded towards the east to the middle of the mountain in the desert, the level surface only of which I perceived. It was full of trees of the seed alluded to, and water leaped down upon it. There appeared a cataract, composed as of many cataracts, both towards the west and towards the east. Upon one side were trees, upon the other water and dew. 28. Then I went to another place from the desert, towards the east of that mountain which I had approached. There I beheld choice trees, particularly those which produce the sweet-smelling drugs, frankincense and myrrh, and trees unlike to each other. And over it, above them, was the elevation of the eastern mountain at no great distance. 29. I likewise saw another place with valleys of water which never wasted, where I perceived a goodly tree, which in smell resembled sazakinon. And towards the sides of these valleys I perceived cinnamon of a sweet odor. Over them I advanced towards the east. 30. Then I beheld another mountain containing trees, from which water flowed like Nikitro. Its name was Sarira and Kalboneba. And upon this mountain I beheld another mountain, upon which were trees of alva. These trees were full, like almond trees, and strong, and when they produced fruit, it was superior to all perfume. 31. After these things, surveying the entrances of the north above the mountains, I perceived 7 mountains, replete with pure nard, odoriferous trees, cinnamon, and papyrus. From thence I passed on above the summits of those mountains to some distance eastwards, and went over the Etherean sea. And when I was advanced far beyond it, I passed along above the angel Satiel, and arrived at the garden of righteousness. In this garden I beheld, among other trees, some which were numerous and large, and which flourished there. Their fragrance was agreeable and powerful, and their appearance both varied and elegant. The tree of knowledge also was there, of which if anyone eats, he becomes endowed with great wisdom. It was like a species of the tamarind tree, bearing fruit which resembled grapes, extremely fine, and its fragrance extended to a considerable distance. I exclaimed, "How beautiful is this tree, and how delightful is its appearance!" Then holy Raphael, an angel who was with me, answered and said, "This is the tree of knowledge, of which thy ancient father and thy aged mother ate, who were before thee, and who, obtaining knowledge, their eyes being opened, and knowing themselves to be naked, were expelled from the garden." 32. From thence I went on towards the extremities of the earth, where I saw large beasts, different from each other, and birds various in their countenances and forms, as well as with notes of different sounds. To the east of these beasts I perceived the extremities of the earth, where heaven ceased, the gates of heaven stood open, and I beheld the celestial stars come forth. I numbered them as they proceeded out of the gate, and wrote them all down. As they came out one by one, according to their number, I wrote down their names all together, their times and their seasons, as the angel Uriel, who was with me, pointed them out to me. He showed them all to me and wrote down an account of them. He also wrote down for me their names, their regulations, and their operations. 33. From thence I advanced on towards the north to the extremities of the earth. And there I saw a great and glorious wonder at the extremities of the whole earth. I saw their heavenly gates opening into heaven. 3 of them distinctly separated. The northern winds proceeded from them, blowing cold, hail, frost, snow, dew, and rain. From one of the gates they blew mildly, but when they blew from the 2 other gates, it was with violence and force. They blew over the earth strongly. 34. From thence I went to the extremities of the world westwards, where I perceived 3 gates open, as I had seen in the north, the gates and passages through them being of equal magnitude. 35. Then I proceeded to the extremities of the earth southwards, where I saw 3 gates open to the south, from which issued dew, rain, and wind. From thence I went to the extremities of heaven eastwards, where I saw 3 heavenly gates open to the east, which had smaller gates within them. Through each of these small gates the stars of heaven passed on, and proceeded towards the west by a path which was seen by them, and that at every period of their appearance. When I beheld them, I blessed every time in which they appeared. I blessed the Lord of glory, who had made those great and splendid signs, that they might display the magnificence of his works to angels and to the souls of men, and that this might glorify all his works and operations, might see the effect of his power, might glorify the great labor of his hands, and bless him forever. 36. 37. The vision which he saw, the second vision of wisdom, which Enoch saw, the son of Jared, the son of Malaleel, the son of Canaan, the son of Enos, the son of Seth, the son of Adam. This is the commencement of the word of wisdom, which I received to declare and tell to those who dwell upon earth, hear from the beginning, and understand to the end, the holy things which I utter in the presence of the Lord of spirits. Those who were before us thought it good to speak. And let not us who come after obstruct the beginning of wisdom. Until the present period never has there been given before the Lord of spirits, the which I have received, wisdom according to the capacity of my intellect, and according to the pleasure of the Lord of spirits, the which I have received from him, a portion of life eternal. And I obtained 3 parables, which I declared to the inhabitants of the world. 38. Parable the first. When the congregation of the righteous shall be manifested, and sinners be judged for their crimes, and be troubled in the sight of the world, when righteousness shall be manifested in the presence of the righteous themselves, who will be elected for their good works duly weighed by the Lord of spirits, and when the light of the righteous and the elect who dwell on earth shall be manifested, where will the habitation of sinners be, and where the place of rest for those who have rejected the Lord of spirits? It would have been better for them had they never been born. When too the secrets of the righteous shall be revealed, then shall sinners be judged, and impious men shall be afflicted in the presence of the righteous and the elect. From that period those who possess the earth shall cease to be powerful and exalted, neither shall they be capable of beholding the countenances of the holy, for the light of the countenances of the holy, the righteous, and the elect has been seen by the Lord of spirits. Yet shall not the mighty kings of that period be destroyed, but be delivered into the hands of the righteous and the holy. nor thenceforward shall any obtain commiseration from the Lord of spirits, because their lives in this world will have been completed. 39. In those days shall the elect and holy race descend from the upper heavens, and their seed shall then be with the sons of men. Enoch received books of indignation and wrath, and books of hurry and agitation. Never shall they obtain mercy, said the Lord of spirits. A cloud then snatched me up, and the wind raised me above the surface of the earth, placing me at the extremity of the heavens. There I saw another vision. I saw the habitations and couches of the saints. There my eyes beheld their habitations with the angels, and their couches with the holy ones. They were entreating, supplicating, and praying for the sons of men, while righteousness like water flowed before them, and mercy like dew was scattered over the earth, and thus shall it be with them forever and forever. At that time my eyes beheld the dwelling of the elect of truth, faith, and righteousness. Countless shall be the number of the holy and the elect in the presence of God forever and forever. Their residence I beheld under the wings of the Lord of spirits. All the holy and the elect sang before him, in appearance like a blaze of fire, their mouths being full of blessings, and their lips glorifying the name of the Lord of spirits, and righteousness incessantly dwelt before him. There was I desirous of remaining, and my soul longed for that habitation. There was my antecedent inheritance, for thus had I prevailed before the Lord of spirits. At that time I glorified and extolled the name of the Lord of spirits with blessing and with praise. For he has established it with blessing and with praise, according to his own good pleasure. That place long did my eyes contemplate. I blessed and said, Blessed be he, blessed from the beginning, forever in the beginning, before the world was created, and without end is his knowledge. What is this world? Of every existing generation, those shall bless thee, who do not sleep in the dust, but stand before thy glory, blessing, glorifying, exalting thee, and saying, The holy, holy Lord of spirits fills the whole world of spirits. There my eyes beheld all who, without sleeping, stand before him and bless him, saying, Blessed be thou, and blessed be the name of God forever and forever. Then my countenance became changed until I was incapable of seeing. 40. After this I beheld thousands of thousands and myriads of myriads, and an infinite number of people standing before the Lord of spirits. On the four wings likewise of the Lord of spirits, on the four sides, I perceived others, besides those who were standing before him. Their names too I know, because the angel who proceeded with me declared them to me, discovering to me every secret thing. Then I heard the voices of those upon the four sides magnifying the Lord of glory. The first voice, Blessed the Lord of spirits, forever and forever. The second voice I heard blessing the elect one, and the elect who suffer on account of the Lord of spirits. The third voice I heard petitioning and praying for those who dwell upon earth, and supplicate the name of the Lord of spirits. The fourth voice I heard expelling the impious angels, and prohibiting them from entering into the presence of the Lord of spirits to prefer accusations against the inhabitants of the earth. After this I besought the angel of peace, who proceeded with me to explain all that was concealed. I said to him, Who are those whom I have seen on the four sides, and whose words I have heard and written down? He replied, The first is the merciful, the patient, the holy Michael. The second is he who presides over every suffering and every affliction of the sons of men, the holy Raphael. The third, who presides over all that is powerful, is Gabriel. And the fourth, who presides over repentance and the hope of those who will inherit eternal life, is Phanuel. These are the four angels of the Most High God, and their four voices, which at the time I heard. 41. After this I beheld the secrets of the heavens and of paradise, according to its divisions, and of human action. As they weigh it there in balances, I saw the habitations of the elect, and the habitations of the holy, and there my eyes beheld all the sinners, who denied the Lord of glory, and whom they were expelling from thence, and dragging away as they stood there, no punishment proceeding against them from the Lord of spirits. There too my eyes beheld the secrets of the lightning and the thunder, and the secrets of the winds, how they are distributed as they blow over the earth, the secrets of the winds, of the dew, and of the clouds. There I perceived the place from which they issued forth, and became saturated with the dust of the earth. There I saw the wooden receptacles out of which the winds became separated, the receptacle of hail, the receptacle of snow, the receptacle of the clouds, and the cloud itself, which continued over the earth before the creation of the world. I beheld also the receptacles of the moon, whence the moons came, whither they proceeded, their glorious return, and how one became more splendid than another. I marked their rich progress, their unchangeable progress, their disunited and undiminished progress, their observance of a mutual fidelity by a stable oath, their proceeding forth before the sun, and their adherence to the path allotted them, in obedience to the command of the Lord of spirits. Potent is his name forever and forever. After this I perceived that the path both concealed and manifest of the moon, as well as the progress of its path, was there completed by day and by night, while each one with another looked towards the Lord of spirits, magnifying and praising without cessation, since praise to them is rest. For in the splendid sun there is a frequent conversion to blessing and to malediction. The course of the moon's path to the righteous is light, but to sinners it is darkness. In the name of the Lord of spirits, who created the division between light and darkness, and separating the spirits of men, strengthened the spirits of the righteous in the name of his own righteousness. Nor does the angel prevent this, neither is he endowed with the power of preventing it, for the judge beholds them all, and judges them all in his own presence. 42. 43. I beheld another splendor, and the stars of heaven. I observed that he called them all by their respective names, and that they heard in a righteous balance. I saw that he weighed out with their light the amplitude of their places, and the day of their appearance, and their conversion. Splendor produced splendor, and their conversion was into the number of the angels and of the faithful. Then I inquired of the angel who proceeded with me, and explained to me secret things, what their names were. He answered, a similitude of those has the Lord of spirits shown thee. They are names of the righteous who dwell upon earth, and who believe in the name of the Lord of spirits forever and forever. 44. Another thing also I saw respecting splendor, that it rises out of the stars, and becomes splendor. being incapable of forsaking them. 45. Parable the second, respecting these who deny the name of the habitation of the holy ones, and of the Lord of spirits. Heaven they shall not ascend, nor shall they come on the earth. This shall be the portion of sinners, who deny the name of the Lord of spirits, and who are thus reserved for the day of punishment and of affliction. In that day shall the elect ones sit upon a throne of glory, and shall choose their conditions in countless habitations, while their spirits within them shall be strengthened. When they behold my elect one, shall choose them for those who have fled for protection to my holy and glorious name. In that day I will cause my elect one to dwell in the midst of them, will change the face of heaven, will bless it, and illuminate it forever. I will also change the face of the earth, will bless it, and cause those whom I have elected to dwell upon it. But those who have committed sin and iniquity shall not inhabit it. For I have marked their proceedings, my righteous ones will I satisfy with peace, placing them before me. But the condemnation of sinners shall draw near, that I may destroy them from the face of the earth. 46. There I beheld the Ancient One, the Ancient of Days, whose head was like white wool, and with him another, whose countenance resembled that of man. His countenance was full of grace, like that of one of the holy angels. Then I inquired of one of the angels who went with me, and who showed me every secret thing concerning the Son of Man, who he was, whence he was, and why he accompanied the Ancient of Days. He answered and said to me, This is the Son of Man, to whom righteousness belongs, with whom righteousness has dwelt, and who will reveal all the treasures of that which is concealed. For the Lord of spirits has chosen him, and his portion has surpassed all before the Lord of spirits in everlasting uprightness. This Son of Man, whom thou beholdest, shall raise up kings, and the mighty from their couches, and the powerful from their thrones, shall loosen the bridles of the powerful, and break in pieces the teeth of sinners. He shall hurl kings from their thrones and their dominions, because they will not exalt and praise him, nor humble themselves before him, by whom their kingdoms were granted to them. The countenance likewise of the mighty shall he cast down, filling them with confusion. Darkness shall be their habitation, and worms shall be their bed, nor from that their bed shall they hope to be again raised, because they exalted not the name of the Lord of spirits. They shall condemn the stars of heaven, shall lift up their hands against the Most High, shall tread upon and inhabit the earth, exhibiting all their works of iniquity, even their works of iniquity. Their strength shall be in the riches, and their faith in the gods whom they have formed with their own hands. They shall deny the name of the Lord of spirits, and shall expel him from the temples in which they assemble, and with him the faithful who suffer in the name of the Lord of spirits. 47. In that day the prayer of the holy and the righteous, and the blood of the righteous, shall ascend from the earth into the presence of the Lord of spirits. In that day shall the holy ones assemble, who dwell above the heavens, and with united voice petition, supplicate, praise, laud, and bless the name of the Lord of spirits, on account of the blood of the righteous which has been shed, that the prayer of the righteous may not be intermitted before the Lord of spirits, that for them he would execute judgment, and that his patience may not endure forever. At that time I beheld the Ancient of Days, while he sat upon the throne of his glory, while the book of the living was opened in his presence, and while all the powers which were above the heavens stood around and before him. Then were the hearts of the saints full of joy, because the consummation of righteousness was arrived, the supplication of the saints heard, and the blood of the righteous appreciated by the Lord of spirits. 48. In that place I beheld a fountain of righteousness which never failed, encircled by many springs of wisdom. Of these all the thirsty drank, and were filled with wisdom, having their habitation with the righteous, the elect, and the holy. Wisdom is poured forth like water, and glory fails not before him forever and ever. For potent is he in all the secrets of righteousness. In that hour was this Son of Man invoked before the Lord of spirits, and his name in the presence of the Ancient of Days. But iniquity passes away like a shadow, and possesses not a fixed station. For the elect one stands before the Lord of spirits, and his glory is forever and ever, and his power from generation to generation. Before the sun and the signs were created, before the stars of heaven were formed, his name was invoked in the presence of the Lord of spirits. A support shall he be for the righteous and the holy to lean upon, without falling, and he shall be the light of nations. With him dwells the spirit of intellectual wisdom, the spirit of instruction and of power, and the spirit of those who sleep in righteousness. He shall judge secret things. He shall be the hope of those whose hearts are troubled. All who dwell on earth shall fall down and worship before him, shall bless and glorify him, and sing praises to the name of the Lord of spirits. Nor shall any be able to utter a single word before him, for the elect one is in the presence of the Lord of spirits, according to his own pleasure. Therefore the elect and the concealed one existed in his presence before the world was created and forever. In his presence he existed, and has revealed to the saints and to the righteous the wisdom of the Lord of spirits. For he has preserved the lot of the righteous, because they have hated and rejected this world of iniquity, and have detested all its works and ways, in the name of the Lord of spirits. For in his name shall they be preserved, and his will shall be their life. In those days shall the kings of the earth and the mighty men, who have gained the world by their achievements, become humble in countenance. For in the day of their anxiety and trouble their soul shall not be saved, and they shall be in subjection to those whom I have chosen. I will cast them like hay into the fire, and like lead into the water. Thus shall they burn in the presence of the righteous, and sink in the presence of the holy, nor shall a tenth part of them be found. But in the day of their trouble the world shall obtain tranquillity. In his presence shall they fall, and not be raised up again, nor shall there be any one to take them out of his hands, and to lift them up, for they have denied the Lord of spirits, and his Messiah. The name of the Lord of spirits shall be blessed. 49. In those days the saints and the chosen shall undergo a change. The light of day shall rest upon them, and the splendor of and glory of the saints shall be changed. In the day of trouble evil shall be heaped up upon sinners, but the righteous shall triumph in the name of the Lord of spirits. Others shall be made to see that they must repent and forsake the works of their hands, and that glory awaits them not in the presence of the Lord of spirits, yet that by his name they may be saved. The Lord of spirits will have compassion on them, for great is his mercy, and righteousness is in his judgment. And in the presence of his glory nor in his judgment shall iniquity stand. He who repents not before him shall perish. Henceforward I will not have mercy on them, said the Lord of spirits. 50. In those days shall the earth deliver up from her womb, and hell deliver up from hers, that which it has received, and destruction shall restore that which it owes. He shall select the righteous and holy from among them, for the day of their salvation has approached. And in those days shall the elect one sit upon his throne, while every secret of intellectual wisdom shall proceed from his mouth, for the Lord of spirits has gifted and glorified him. In those days the mountains shall skip like rams, and the hills shall leap like young sheep, satiated with milk, and all the righteous shall become angels in heaven. Their countenance shall be bright with joy. For in those days shall the elect one be exalted, the earth shall rejoice, the righteous shall inhabit it, and the elect possess it. 51. After that period, in the place where I had seen every secret sight, I was snatched up in a whirlwind, and carried off westwards. There my eyes beheld the secrets of heaven, and all which existed on earth, a mountain of iron, a mountain of copper, a mountain of silver, a mountain of gold, a mountain of fluid metal, and a mountain of lead. And I inquired of the angel who went with me, saying, What are these things which in secret I behold? He said, All these things which thou beholdest shall be for the dominion of the Messiah, that he may command and be powerful upon earth. And that angel of peace answered me, saying, Wait but a short time, and thou shalt understand, and every secret thing shall be revealed to thee, which the Lord of spirits has decreed those mountains which thou hast seen, the mountain of iron, the mountain of copper, the mountain of silver, the mountain of gold, the mountain of fluid metal, and the mountain of lead, all these in the presence of the elect one shall be like a honeycomb before the fire, and like water descending from above upon these mountains, and shall become debilitated before his feet. In those days men shall not be saved by gold and by silver, nor shall they have it in their power to secure themselves and to fly. There shall be neither iron for war, nor a coat of mail for the breast. Copper shall be useless, useless also that which neither rusts nor consumes away, and lead shall not be coveted. All these things shall be rejected and perish from off the earth, when the elect one shall appear in the presence of the Lord of spirits. 52. There my eyes beheld a deep valley, and wide was its entrance. All who dwell on land, on the sea, and in islands shall bring to it gifts, presents, and offerings. Yet that deep valley shall not be full. Their hands shall commit iniquity. Whatsoever they produce by labor, the sinner shall devour with crime, but they shall perish from the face of the Lord of spirits. And from the face of his earth they shall stand up, and shall not fail for ever and ever. I beheld the angels of punishment, who were dwelling there, and preparing every instrument of Satan. Then I inquired of the angel of peace, who proceeded with me, for whom those instruments were preparing. He said, These they are preparing for the kings and powerful ones of the earth, that thus they may perish. After which the righteous and chosen house of his congregation shall appear, thenceforward unchangeable in the name of the Lord of spirits. Nor shall those mountains exist in his presence, as the earth and the hills, as the fountains of water, exist, and the righteous shall be relieved from the vexation of sinners. 53. Then I looked and turned myself to another part of the earth, where I beheld a deep valley burning with fire. To this valley they brought monarchs and the mighty, and there my eyes beheld the instruments which they were making, fetters of iron without weight. Then I inquired of the angel of peace, who proceeded with me, saying, For whom are these fetters and instruments prepared? He replied, These are prepared for the host of Azazel, that they may be delivered over and adjudged to the lowest condemnation, and that their angels may be overwhelmed with hurled stones, as the Lord of spirits has commanded. Michael and Gabriel, Raphael and Phanuel shall be strengthened in that day, and shall then cast them into a furnace of blazing fire, that the Lord of spirits may avenge of them for their crimes, because they became ministers of Satan, and seduced those who dwell upon earth. In those days shall punishment go forth from the Lord of spirits, and the receptacles of water which are above the heavens shall be opened, and the fountains likewise which are under the heavens are under the earth. All the waters which are in the heavens and above them shall be mixed together. The water which is above heaven shall be the agent, and the water which is under the earth shall be the recipient, and all shall be destroyed who dwell upon earth, and who dwell upon the extremities of heaven. By these means shall they understand the iniquity which they have committed on earth, and by these means shall they perish. 54. Afterwards the Ancient of Days repented and said, In vain have I destroyed all the inhabitants of the earth. And he sware by his great name, saying, Henceforwards I will not act thus towards all those who dwell upon earth, but I will place a sign in the heavens, and it shall be a faithful witness between me and them forever, as long as the days of heaven and earth last upon the earth. Afterwards, according to this my decree, when I shall be disposed to seize them beforehand, by the instrumentality of angels, in the day of affliction and trouble, my wrath and my punishment shall remain upon them. My punishment and my wrath, said God, the Lord of spirits. O ye kings, O ye mighty, who inhabit the world, you shall behold my elect one, sitting upon the throne of my glory, and he shall judge Azazel, all his associates, and all his host, in the name of the Lord of spirits. There likewise I beheld hosts of angels who were moving in punishment, confined in a network of iron and brass. Then I inquired of the angel of peace, who proceeded with me, to whom those under confinement were going. He said, To each of their elect and their beloved, that they may be cast into the fountains and deep recesses of the valley. And that valley shall be filled with their elect and beloved, the days of whose life shall be consumed. But the days of their error shall be innumerable. Then shall princes combine together and conspire. The chiefs of the east among the Parthians and Medes shall remove kings, in whom a spirit of perturbation shall enter. They shall hurl them from their thrones, springing as lions from their dens, and like famished wolves into the midst of the flock. They shall go up and tread upon the land of their elect. They shall go up and tread upon the land of their elect. The land of their elect shall be before them, the threshing floor, the path, and the city of my righteous people shall impede the progress of their horses. They shall rise up to destroy each other. Their right hand shall be strengthened, nor shall a man acknowledge his friend or his brother, nor the son his father and his mother, until the number of the dead bodies shall be completed by their death and punishment. Neither shall this take place without cause. In those days shall the mouth of hell be opened, into which they shall be immersed. Hell shall destroy and swallow up sinners from the face of the elect. 55. After this I beheld another army of chariots, with men riding in them. And they came upon the wind from the east, from the west, and from the south. The sound of the noise of the chariots was heard. And when the agitation took place, the saints out of heaven perceived it. The pillar of the earth shook from its foundation, and the sound was heard from the extremities of the earth unto the extremities of heaven at the same time. Then they all fell down and worshipped the Lord of spirits. This is the end of the second parable.